Welcome to 49ers After Dark. Grant Cohn, Jessie Naylor, and everyone here among us having a great time talking football. Jim Harbaugh's back, everyone. We're going to talk about the 49ers and the Detroit Lions and the NFC Championship game because that's really what matters. But when I go into a stream, Jesse, I try to think what makes today different from all other days, and it's Jim Harbaugh. So he just got hired as the head coach of the Chargers, the least surprising thing of all time. What do you think of this move, and what does it mean for the NFL?
Well, first of all, I know that he was kind of going back and forth with Michigan and the Chargers on deciding whether he was going to stay or go. Ultimately made the decision to come to the NFL, like you said, the least surprising move in football. But I think that it makes it interesting overall for that division. I mean, he didn't choose an easy one. You got Andy Reid, who doesn't seem to be retiring anytime soon, with Patrick Mahomes. You got to get over the hump against them. And if you do, I mean, how great does that make you and cement your legacy? So I think that is an interesting choice. Obviously, he gets Justin Herbert, so that's good. But just for the NFL, I think the Harbaughs being in the NFL is a good thing. And I'm looking across the landscape. I'm shocked that Philadelphia didn't fire Sirianni. I'm shocked that Dallas didn't make a change in McCarthy. I thought for sure there would be changes there. They would either bring in some youth or Bill Belichick would end up in one of those places. But man, Harbaugh back in the NFL. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. And I think the Chargers all of a sudden become real contenders. Maybe not this next year. I think there's some roster moves that they got to make and some money they got to figure out. But in 2 years, I would be shocked if they weren't competing and making deep runs in the playoffs.
I don't know. That's not the Jim Harbaugh I know. He doesn't take a long time. That's what they said about him when he got the Niners job. He was like, well, give him a couple years. It was like 13-3, NFC Championship. He's got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I know Larry Kruger doesn't think he's quite as good as Brock Purdy. Shout out Larry Kruger. But I think
Brock Purdy's like top 3, so that's not a bad thing.
That's a slap in his face. Take it back. Top 1.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Ever. Not ever. Top 1 now, ever. Yeah, we got to make it clear. Yeah.
I mean, he's got a better I'm not saying he's a better quarterback than his brother, because the more I've watched Lamar this year, the more I feel like he's the second best quarterback in the league.
Him or Allen,
better than Allen. But Herbert might be 4, 3. I mean, he's 5, right there. Sure. Yeah, I probably would take him over Joe Burrow, although I'm not sure. It'd be nice to see it in Jim Harbaugh's offense. How do you think he's going to look in Harbaugh's offense?
I'm curious to see who Harbaugh hires as his coordinators. That's really the question. So it sounds like a foregone conclusion that Fangio is going to end up in Philly, and I don't know if that transaction's actually taken place. But what if he ends up with Harbaugh in the Chargers?
Like, how do you not reunite with Harbaugh? That's just a proven good combination. And is Herbert not the best quarterback Harbaugh's worked with since Luck?
Oh yeah. By far in the NFL, the best quarterback he's ever worked with. So yeah, absolutely. Not close.
I don't know, man. I feel like he's going to find a way to contend right away. And it's too bad that the Niners won't face them next year, or will they? Probably not. No.
I don't think so. I know they play Buffalo, but I don't think they play the Chargers. 2 years though, they probably will. And at that point, 49ers are going to lose a lot of pieces. The Chargers, it might get interesting. We'll see.
Do you think Harbaugh will last more or less than over under 3.5 years, 4.5 years, over under?
Oh, see, that's like the sweet spot. I'm gonna say under. I feel like he's not trying to do this long term. I think he's in it for legacy, and I think he's trying to get a ring. And he's either gonna know if he can do it or not within that time frame. And I think he'll be out especially if he wins one. He's out because what's stopping him? If you look at Harbaugh. People look at him and they're like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, Stanford was good. They act like Stanford was good before he got there. They were dog water before he got there. He turned them around. He turned whoever it was he was coaching before that around. Then he gets to the 49ers, turned them around. Then he goes to Michigan. Great.
He was 10-3 in his first year at Michigan. Previously, they were 5-7 under Brady Hoke. So watch out for the Chargers.
Michigan is a great college organization, but they weren't great before he was there, and he turns them around. Now he's going to the Chargers. At some point, he's going to turn him around, and probably sooner than later. I say 2 years. Maybe it happens in one, but he does this everywhere. He's been successful everywhere. There's no reason to think that he wouldn't be successful here too.
What team's going to be better next year? Rams or Chargers?
I'll go Rams.
I'll go Chargers. What are we betting?
A good steak dinner. Good steak dinner. Yep.
Yeah. I like that.
And we'll pay up. Maybe depending on how the schedule falls, we'll know when they play Tampa and you're here, and you can pay up then.
I'm picking the Chargers, having no idea who their coordinators are. If he has Greg Roman as his offense coordinator, I'll just get right now. Yeah. Next time I see you, I'll just pay up.
You'll just pay Saturday when I see you. It'll be great. Yeah,
exactly. I think this makes the NFL a lot more interesting. Have you never noticed that like there are certain coaches that just get an inordinate amount of screen time during games? It's like a play happens and it's an immediate cut to the coach. Every play. There's certain coaches like that. Pete Carroll with his gum. Anything happens. Pete. Harbaugh's like that. He just dominates screen time.
He does.
I think he's good for he's a real star as a coach. He's probably who's more famous as a football coach in the world than him? Just in terms of fame and notoriety.
I mean, it probably would have been Saban
and Belichick, but they just don't have the personality Harbaugh has.
No, they don't. They
really
definitely don't. No. I can't wait to see him going up to Herbert before the game, doing the pad slap thing, and who's got it better. It's so corny, but it works, man. It works.
I just need it, man. That's one of the softer franchises, teams, underperforming. See, to me, that's one of the more underperforming teams in the league. Whatever the hell that coach was doing the last few years.
That's just it.
They
have
a lot. I mean, they have not a lot, but kind of. What do they got?
They got things to work with.
Derwin, James, Slater, Eckler, Keenan Allen. Yeah, man.
Williams. They got a little squad. They do have a little squad. And Herbert's the trigger puller. So yeah.
Hey, Barclay says, hey, there they are. What up, my guys? What's up, Dave?
What up? Do I know you know, but there you are.
Brother Bob says, Iglet, you're my favorite now because Nails let Rad off easy. Who's Rad?
I just did a full circle moment. The Lions content creator that used to do the channel with me, he just came on and we did Behind Enemy Lines before this. So it was like a full circle last second sports moment over on my channel.
Okay.
So he, Brother Bob, he goes after everybody. So he was going in on him.
Dave Barclay says, and all my peoples in the chat, like-minded people. Dave Barclay, again, Harbaugh has been now his favorite NFL coach ever. I mean, Kyle is very famous too as coaches. He's become very famous. Sean McVay is pretty famous. But Harbaugh's iconic with the khaki pants and his whole look, his whole personality. Cameron can't get, he just is the most famous person on his team every time. He's more famous than Justin Herbert.
He has reactions like Sirianni, but not in like a gooberish way, just natural. He gets into the game and he's like peering over his brim of his hat and he's all into it with like hunched over, and then he freaks out. Remember when he freaked out? That was like the best gif ever. He's like, oh my God, he's freaking out on the sideline during the middle of the games. He's always doing that stuff.
He's good for football. He's absolutely good for football. Brother Bob says this, this why Iglet top notch calls out idiots. I like Larry Krueger. I work with Larry Krueger. I just have to give him a hard time sometimes because he gives me a hard time sometimes. And that's what friends do. They rip on each other all the time in public.
All the time. Mercilessly.
Dave Barclay says Harbaugh last 6 years count on it. No more, no less. Dave, you're on fire tonight. Double B Studio says, where does Vic Fangio go next? Niners? How about the Chargers?
Philly or Chargers? Philly or Chargers would be my guess.
I don't know why you'd want to hitch your wagon to Nick Sirianni. Like, no thanks.
I wouldn't either. But I think he's got family in Philly. That's why.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Dave Barclay says goes to 2 bowls, wins at least 1. Who?
Okay.
Harbaugh. Harbaugh. Andy, Grant, when you started your channel, you wore suits. Why did it stop?
You know how uncomfortable that is?
Yeah. I could do it again. Maybe I'll do it every once in a while to switch it up. Maybe I need to. Maybe I need to go back to I was trying to, like I was on the come up. Then I came up and now I don't feel like doing that anymore. I guess that's the honest answer.
When you do the meetings with the organization and it's like just you and Kyle and you know how you do the whole thing, the whole coach thing, you should wear the suit and the tie. I think that'd be good. Like address them. That'd be a great way to bring it back.
I feel it. Draymond Greenlaw says, do you like watching Bosa when he's beating Goff? Very important to say those words with a big pause in between them. And I did.
Well played. That was you actually did a good job. You did a good job.
49er Vito says, LAC, who's got it better than us? Me, the 49ers. Hey, all of a sudden now, if it's like the West Coast has some serious football teams. For a long time, it was the Niners. Now it's the Niners and the Chargers. And I'm thinking the Rams. Yes, the Rams. Borna Nazari says, Harbaugh, baby, is this real Grand Code? Huge fan. Yeah. Borna's the guy who gets me all my sponsorships, and he went to UCLA, and he was in my frat. He's like 12 years younger than me or more. But like
what's
14.
Up, Borna?
But I figured it out. I don't know, just something about the way he was talking to me. I was like, you were at Sigma Nu at UCLA, weren't you? Just a degenerate. You know what I mean? Sorry. Not to, if you went to UCLA, it were Sigma Nu there. I'm not judging you, but I was in that frat and I know what we did. Okay. I know what we did. It's terrible. Abu Marco 23 says, I hate that we're on the ledge waiting for news on Debo's shoulder. Or the only super team that can't handle a single player going down.
No.
They're 8-9 without him since they drafted him.
Oh.
It's wild. Dave Barclay says,
but how many of those games did Jimmy not play? How many of those games did Jimmy not play, Grant? Did you factor that in?
I don't even know. I just saw Chase Sr. point the stat out and I stole it from him. Shout out Chase. Dave Barclay says, wear a suit again and see how good you feel. You know, secret, I never wore suit pants. It was pajamas the whole time. It was just an illusion. Yeah. Ty says, if Harbaugh never left the Niners, I believe he would have brought us a Super Bowl, maybe several. What do you think, him or Kyle Shanahan?
We'll see. Man. We'll see. I think
he was going to have to rebuild that team. They were kind of at the end.
I don't know if it would have worked here, but what I can say is right now, the unequivocal right answer is Jim Harbaugh is a better coach than Kyle Shanahan. I'm not saying better pro coach. You can say that maybe Shanahan is that, and especially if he wins this year, then he's clearly that. But Harbaugh has done it on both levels, and every single team he has gone to, every organization he has gone to, he's turned them around and made them into a winner from a loser. He will do it again with the Chargers. He's
vying for like one of the greatest coaches of all time. If you look at his complete resume, now that he has a championship under his belt, and anyway, we should probably wrap up the Harbaugh stuff soon. Augustin Rosales says, go denim on denim.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Canadian tuxedo.
I don't know why I'm upset about that, but I really got under George Kittle's skin, and it's the best thing. It's really nice that I did that. HJH says, what does it mean to you, other guys on the beat? What?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Dave Barkley says, I heard Debo is out. You did?
Where?
I didn't hear that at all. All right, let's go to the Niners. They're in the NFC Championship.
They are.
We're talking about famous coaches. Kyle Shanahan, quite famous. Dan Campbell has become very famous. And if he, obviously if he wins a Super Bowl, he'd be more. But they're different. Kyle Shanahan's kind of, talks. He's real cool. He's laid back, and he doesn't go for it on fourth down very much. Dan Campbell, intense, all up in your face, goes for it on fourth down like all the freaking time. Let's compare and contrast these coaches, Jesse.
Well, I'll ask you a question. If you had an organization, not who's the better coach, let's just take their demeanor and what they bring to the table. Which demeanor do you prefer? Do you prefer Kyle Shanahan's demeanor, or do you prefer Campbell's demeanor? And got to remember, what comes with that is the way that they coach on the field as well, the decision making.
I love this question, and I have a great answer for you. I do. Campbell's. And here's why. Kyle's demeanor is great. It's authentic. It works for him. But what did he have to do mid-season? He had to call Steve Wilkes out of the coaching booth. Hey, Steve, it's a little flat down here. I'm sort of staring at my play sheet, and that isn't really doing it emotionally for my players the way that you could or D'Amico or Saleh did. So he sort of always needs the defensive coordinator to be the emotional core of the team. He can't do it. And look, to his credit, he always finds a guy who can do it, and it's never held him back. So, but Dan doesn't need to find someone to do that for him. Delegate is the word I was looking for. He doesn't need to delegate that task. It's an important one because it's kind of like leadership.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I mean,
it is
it's
definitely
not
leadership.
kind of like leadership. It is leadership.
Yeah. It's not like pretend leadership. That's leadership. Yeah.
Which is why these defensive coordinators get hired from the Niners, because you kind of not you kind of are a co-head coach of the team in a lot of ways. You're like the head coach of the team. Kyle's like, go ahead. I'm just going to do my thing. You go ahead. Cool. I'll run the team.
Yeah. It's interesting because I posed a similar question on my show yesterday, and it was more like, which demeanor do you prefer in this moment and why? And I actually lean towards Shanahan. I gravitate more towards Campbell, but for this moment, I would lean the Shanahan way because at least I know what I'm going to get. I don't know what I'm going to get from Campbell, and that could be a good thing. I will say this. Going against Campbell is much scarier than going against Shanahan just because you can't predict what's going to happen. It could be 4th and 4 on their own 35, and they're like, F it, we're going for it. Well, it's really hard to stop offenses 4 times in a row. It is. It doesn't matter. And their offense is very good. So when you think that all of a sudden you're about to get the ball back, it's like, not so fast. We're going to go for it on 4th down, or we're going to go for a 2-point conversion. That is really scary to go against because it's like they play and coach like they have nothing to lose. And what's interesting is Kyle Shanahan today in his press conference talked about this. He talked about their defense. And if they make the right moves, they feel like they can get big plays because Detroit gambles. I went and listened to Dan Campbell's press conference today. He talked about that exact same thing. And he said, they asked him about the defense. And he said, I love our defense. They hit hard. They're after it. They gamble. That's the way that I prefer them to be. Sometimes it hurts you, but when it helps, big plays definitely happen. So they both recognize it. Shanahan's like, I wouldn't. You can tell he's like, I wouldn't coach that way. Like, exactly. Yeah. And Campbell's like, no, I want my players to be gamblers. So they're just completely different guys. And I think they're both very good coaches in their own right. I like Dan Campbell. I prefer that demeanor if I was being coached by him. But man, for my team, I kind of like the conservative approach. I do.
And I think it's fair to even wonder, like, to question both of them. Like, both of them have shown questionable judgment under extreme pressure. Kyle, any number of times. And Dan Campbell, famously a few weeks ago against Dallas.
Yeah.
People that watch that game will never, ever forget that about him. It was cool going for 2 the first time. Going for 2 from the 7 is something I've never seen before with the game on the line. And the football guys bailed him out, even though he was going to do it. And he still didn't read the room. You know what I mean? It was like divine intervention. They're like, no. It's like Pulp Fiction. No, divine intervention. No, can't let this happen. He's like, thanks. I didn't read the tea leaves. Trying again. Oh, dang. So yeah, I don't really. Both of them are. Do you really trust them under pressure? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not like they're Andy Reid or John Harbaugh, who's like proven it. They can do it. Neither one.
You know what I find interesting about both of them though. If I were to look at Brock Purdy and Jared Goff, they're kind of the antithesis of their coach. Where Dan Campbell's like loose, flying by the seat of his pants, and Jared Goff is very even keel, just does his job. If it checks down there, he's going to take it. To where Brock is like, hey, I'm a gunslinger, and he does play that way a little bit. And then you got Shanahan, who's like, hey, no, I mean, we're just buttoned up over here. So it's funny how the quarterback is a direct contrast to them. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they need each other's
for Jared Goff. Niner fans would love that. They'd be really happy.
They'd be so happy about that.
But you're close with Lions content creators, right? They're pretty much under the impression that Goff is better than Purdy.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they believe that.
Which is understandable. I mean, they're Lions fans, and he's a veteran. He's accomplished more.
Yeah, he's definitely accomplished more. I'll take Purdy's skill set, though. Brock. I'll take Purdy's skill set because he can get mobile, and Goff falls like a sack of potatoes if anybody's near him. So, no, I'm good.
All right, let's play some prize picks before it gets crazy up in here. Boom. Prize picks time. Up in here. Let's do running backs today because I'm in the mood. Start with, how about Christian McCaffrey? Plays for the 49ers. 130. No, I don't think they have just rush yards. They have rush. Oh, they do. That's right. It's the first one. Let's do that.
Okay. I was like, 131 yards. That's a lot.
Nah. 89.5 for Christian McCaffrey. Or should we do all-purpose yards?
Well, let's do all-purpose because these guys, some of these guys, him and Gibbs are all-purpose. Yeah, let's do all-purpose. I like that.
Okay. Rush and receiving yards. Boom. All right, let's do it like that. Christian McCaffrey, 131.5. He went for 128 last week.
I'm going to say more, and a lot of it's going to come through the air, I think. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities through the air. So
I feel it too. More. I think this guy's going to get he's going to get 30 to 40 plays are going to be dedicated to him in terms of handoffs and targets. It's going to get a lot. They're going to empty the tank. I'm with you on that. More for McCaffrey. Okay, Gibbs, 75.5 all-purpose.
More. I mean, he's every bit as explosive as McCaffrey. He gets the ball in his hands, man. He can make it go. He won them the game that last week. They put him in for 2 straight drives, and all of a sudden, boom, game over.
Can I say something?
He's phenomenal.
Blasphemous on a Niners channel.
Oh, are you going to say he's better than McCaffrey?
No, I'm not going to say better.
Oh, okay.
You said every bit as explosive as McCaffrey.
Yeah,
he's more explosive than McCaffrey.
That's that. Okay, that might be fair. As far as pure better, explosiveness,
because McCaffrey's like a bell cow running back, and Gibbs isn't even a starter yet. So I'm not going to say better. Of course. No disrespect to Christian, but more explosive. Yeah. Might be the most explosive running back in the league.
You might be right on that one.
Okay, David Montgomery, 52.5.
I'm gonna go less. He never catches the ball, and I can't see him and Gibbs going for 120 between the two of them. So no, I'll go less.
Okay, I like that. I'm with it. Justice Hill, 51.5 all-purpose yards.
More. They're using him on third downs like crazy, and he actually kind of took over their number one back as far as carries last week too. So they kind of ride with the hot hand, but no matter what, he's going to catch the ball. So I'm going to go more.
He's so much more explosive than Gus Edwards, 49.5 all-purpose, more or less.
Less.
Thank you, man. That guy is not dynamic. And then finally, Isaiah Pacheco, 84.5 all-purpose yards against Baltimore.
Gosh, this one's tough. They need him to have more. I don't think they're going to win that game though. I'll go.
You don't?
More. No.
You're betting against Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
So you're going more or less? I wasn't listening to you. I was just talking.
I'll go more. Sorry. I'll go more.
All right. So $40 to win 1,000. McCaffrey more, Gibbs more, Montgomery less, Hill more, Edwards less, Pacheco more. I think that's pretty reasonable. All-purpose yards, prize picks, entry placed. If you want to play, promo code Cohn, COHN. 100%.
I feel like saying reasonable as you're placing a massive bet is like, not those two words don't go together. Seems pretty reasonable. There goes my mortgage.
We pretty much got this.
Yeah, we're good.
We've won some.
We have won, actually.
That's why we're the prize picks masters.
Well, listen, I don't want to pat myself.
We're prize picks players.
We are players.
If you let's this is a fun game. Let's list the top 7 players on the field in the NFC Championship game and see how many are on the 49ers.
Okay. All right. Let's go back and forth. Who would? Okay, I'll start out. Player, I'm taking number one. This is like just right now in the moment. Not, I don't know how long these guys are going to play, but right now in the moment, I'll go Trent Williams number one. He'd be my
The
first
best
draft.
player in the game.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Number two. Penei Sewell.
That's who I had number two. All right. I agree.
Okay.
I
All
agree.
right. We're on the same page. Penei Sewell. That guy's really good.
Because the way that I see this is how do you compare to the other people at your position in the league? And also, how important is that position in football? Penei Sewell is the best right tackle in the game. So check box as far as against his peers. And right tackle is a pretty important position.
It's just as important as left tackle, depending on the scheme. Not in the Niners scheme.
No. But yes, Penei Sewell. Okay. All right. Number three. Oh, gosh, this one's tough. Because he's not the best at his position, but it is a more important position than somebody who is. I'll go Nick Bosa.
Boo.
You can go with the next one. Who you would have had at three?
I would have put Fred Warner. I think Fred Warner is more important. I mean, I think he's better, or at least this year. Nick Bosa just had a really down year. He plays a very important position, but frankly, linebackers, I think it's harder to find a linebacker who's good against the run and the pass than it is to find a excellent edge rusher. So,
okay,
I'm mad at you because you disagree with me. How dare you?
I don't disagree with that, but Bosa, man, he's. Oof.
But he's in the top 7.
I get this year, like maybe whatever, but he's still a game changer.
Who had a better year this year, Bosa or Brandon Ayuk?
Oh,
it's okay. You can say it. It's okay. You can say it. Yeah, that's the truth. I was thinking about leaving Bosa out of this top 7.
Oh, I have to, but I also have to
Niners top 4 from this year. The Niners top 4 this year to me are Trent Williams, Fred Warner, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey. Those are the top 4 players on the team this year. And Bosa would be 5, Purdy would be 6, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's fair. I mean, Kittle would be up there too.
Kittle would be up there too. Yeah, that's true. Okay. That's true.
You're almost talking me into it, but I already made the pick. So
yeah, no, it's fine. So I went with Warner. Okay,
much like 49ers third round picks. Listen, much like 49ers third round picks, maybe I didn't hit there. All right. I'll go.
Hard
Christian
to go wrong
McCaffrey.
with Nick Bosa because it's more than just this year. So hard to go wrong.
Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey. He's the best running back in the league, man. He might be the best overall player in the league right now in this moment. So Christian McCaffrey.
All right. What about Aiden Hutchinson? He had more sacks than Bosa this year. He had a higher PFF grade than Bosa this year, I think, or similar. I mean,
he was my 7th pick.
There you go.
He was my 7th pick.
Okay,
so fair. My 6th pick was actually a Lion as well, and that's Frank Ragnow. So we'll go with him at 7th.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Frank Ragnow.
You're mad that Ayuk didn't make this list, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
See you
I'm not. I was thinking, like, who is going to be? How many lines do you have in your list? 3?
3, yeah.
I was thinking who the third one was going to be, and I wasn't going to go with Ragnow. I was going to go with Gibbs. I'm a big Gibbs fan for no reason. But I mean, like, for a backup running back, he had 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns this year. Like, to me, he's the second best running back in the league after McCaffrey. I think the 2 best running backs in the league are playing this game. I'm excited to watch it. I know people still love Derrick Henry. He's great, but like, these guys are so explosive, and they're receivers too. I know Amon-Ra St. Brown is really good, but like, he's not as good as Ayuk to me. He's very good. So I don't know. Those guys are
Amon-Ra St. Brown, Ayuk, Kittle, Laporta, Hargrave. I mean, there's a lot.
Laporta.
Greenlaw. We left a lot of names off.
Let me ask you this. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's mostly in the slot. He'll be going up against Diamador Lenore a lot, who's underrated, better than pretty good, really good. But that's one hell of a matchup. I think they've gone up against each other since at least college, maybe high school. They know each other. That matchup right there could determine the game. Lenore against St. Brown.
Diamador Lenore, to me, is if Amon-Ra St. Brown was a corner, he'd be Demo. They're both smaller in stature. Neither are overly explosive as far as speed goes, but they're both very physical, both tough at the catch point, and are good enough athletes to get it done. They are kind of mirror images of each other in different positions.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting matchup.
It's going to be key. We're going to need Nick Bosa to play well. You said he's one of the top 7 players in the game. He needs to play like it. When was the last time?
He does. No, he does. He does. He does. It's been a while.
When was the last playoff game he played like it? I mean, I don't know. He came out halfway through the Dallas game 2 years ago. How good was he in Green Bay? I don't even know, man. It's been a minute. It's time for Nick to rise to the occasion.
I was going to say this, though. I actually trust Demo on Amon-Ra St. Brown more than I would Mooney.
Of course.
Because he's going to go everywhere. Amon-Ra is not going to just be in the slot. He's going to be everywhere. And I just don't like that matchup for Ward. Just stylistically, I don't like it as much versus if he was a big receiver. He's small, he's shifty, he's quick. I just don't think it's a good matchup for him. So I actually trust Demo more against him.
You got to go with Demo and see how he does. It's the biggest assignment of his life, but he's been doing such a good job. Got a lot of confidence right now. The regular Ryan says, put them suits back on and hype up Nick Mullins. Hell yeah. Man, that was a different lifetime. Dave Barclay says, I'd take Jim Harbaugh over Kyle Shanahan 11 times out of 10.
I don't think it's debatable right now. I mean, he is the better coach.
Yeah. The Goose says, can you do the Sam Darnold face just cuz? No, it's like, oh yeah. I'm sorry.
He's always so
confused all the time.
He does. Yeah.
That's the face.
Yeah, that's it. That's the face. Yeah. Yeah. Well, me? Are you talking to me? You want me to call this play?
The Goose is Dave Barclay says, heard the Debo news at my local Mexican spot tonight. He's a huge fan and he told me Debo is out, but I did not personally hear it on NFL Network or anything. Love you guys. Big game coming.
Well, bro, if your local Mexican spot has this scoop before everybody, shout out to them.
The Ryan G. Hensley Show. Shout out to the Ryan G. Hensley. Would you two rather have Kyle or Brock or Jim and Justin?
Oh, come on. This shouldn't even be a debatable question.
Ryan, why you got to start stuff?
Jim and Justin.
I'm going to say Kyle and Brock. Just for the vibe.
Such a liar. You're such a liar.
Just because they're friends. They like each other. We don't know if Jim and Justin like each other.
Oh, that's true. They might hate each other. Yeah.
They might hate each other. HJH says, do you think you would cover another team?
Yeah.
Would I? That would be hard. After putting in 13 years on one team in your late 30s, moving to another market where no one knows you, a team you don't know their history, trying to cram it and learn it and then make yourself an authority on that team. That'd be really hard. I know people do it, but it's not easy. It's not easy.
So
no, I'm not, I happen to know Niners history because I grew up a fan and my dad covered the team, but I don't know freaking Titans history, Lions history. I couldn't cover those teams.
Yeah, I think you would be able to. You would, but you know what? The way that I see it is, you're not a fan of the team, so it's actually, I think that's kind of an advantage. Like for me, if I was actually in the building and covering a team, I wouldn't want to cover the 49ers. I genuinely wouldn't. I don't want to be a fan of the team. I want to be critical if I need. I want to be objective. I want to be like you and not have a heart in the game or any skin in it. And so for me, I would choose to cover another team. That's what I would prefer.
I feel that. That's mature. Dave Barclay, Jim and Justin, no doubt, Ryan. Dave again with our other weapons fire. Fire. Double B Studio says, shout out Ryan G in the house. Shout out Double B Studio in the house as well. 29er. We got 69er, 29er. Kyle Shanahan just unload the clip with the entire offense.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see this week, maybe.
Orson Vu, what's your favorite Nickelback song? All of them.
How can you pick a favorite, really?
How can
They're
you
all
pick your
just so
favorite
good.
one? Flav says Lions basically rolled their safety over Godwin and let Sutton go one-on-one with Evans last week. If Debo goes, I assume they do the same. If not, they can just double Ayuk all day. Even decoy Debo is huge.
Okay. Yeah.
I get the feeling decoy is going to be out there. Frank Tom Ocean says Grant Jesse 2024 LOL. All right. If Debo Samuel doesn't play and the Niners lose, is that a valid excuse?
No. They're better than the Lions. They are at home. Has the line even shifted? I mean, Debo might not play, and I don't think the line's even shifted. Bet US could probably tell us the answer to that question. But no, I don't think it's a valid excuse, Grant. This team needs to win it, and they need to win it now. And I think anything other than a win here, other than a Super Bowl appearance, would be a tremendous failure. So I hope Debo plays. Their chances certainly go up. But if Debo doesn't play and they game plan as if he's not playing, they should still probably be a near touchdown favorite. They're that much better than this team. They're more complete. They've got a much better defense. The offenses are pretty even. I would probably even lean towards the 49ers there. There's no reason the 49ers, even without Debo, if you go talent for talent, you go running backs. You lean 49ers. You go tight end, you're leaning 49ers. You go wide receivers without Debo, and you still might lean 49ers. There's plenty of talent to go around. There is no excuse. They've got to win this game. So no.
But it is interesting that with Debo in the lineup since 19 there, they have like a 70% winning percentage, and without him, they're 8-9. And they don't score that. It's not like their offense is just craters without him, but the turnovers are a big issue without him, at least in this small sample size. And I don't know, maybe that's totally random, or maybe Debo really does kind of help your offense be safer, because the way you get the ball to Debo is just extended handoffs. You know, he's essentially another running back on the field, and he makes your passing game a lot safer. On 3rd and 15, you don't have to throw past the sticks. You could just flip it to Debo and let him break 17 tackles. Maybe.
Well, that's a good point. But
or maybe all that
question
pre-snap motion just confuses people.
Yeah, but also they were really good, and the offense was fantastic without him last year. That's what I can't understand.
Last year. That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Considering he wasn't that good last year anyway.
When I look at Debo, the 3 games he was out this year, Trent Williams was also out. So was it him or was it Trent, right? And then he was out this game and they sputtered, but was that weather or was that Debo? I really don't. I'm not saying Debo's not an impact. He is. He's a great player. But I don't know how much of an impact it is when he's out, because we do have a sample size last year where they were very good without him. And the sample size this year is like, well, but also weather, but also Trent Williams was out. So how much of that is Debo not being in the lineup? I really, truly don't know the answer to that.
Okay. So let's talk about this game then. Here's why I don't think it's an excuse. I think they should be able to beat Detroit even without Debo.
I agree.
Because I'm looking at Detroit and they have, like they said, people say the Niners pass rush hasn't been that great this year. And it's better than Detroit's. Aiden Hutchinson's good, but Detroit ranks 22nd in sack percentage. So if they're going to get pressure on Purdy, they're going to have to, bring a 5th rusher, which Purdy just destroys. So even without Debo, if the Lions are rushing 5, then Purdy's going to destroy him with throws to Ayuk and Kittle. Like, they'll be wide open in the secondary. And I also think the Lions tackling isn't very good. Like, Rashad White looked like freaking prime Alvin Kamara a couple nights ago. So I can see the Niners scoring 30 plus in this game, even without Debo. They have more than enough talent, and the Lions defense really isn't that good. I mean, statistically, they're good at stopping the run, but their pass rush isn't special. Their coverage isn't special. I think Purdy has enough to put up 30. He's an elite quarterback, and he's got 2 elite wide receivers, an elite running back, 1 elite wide receiver, 1 elite running back, and an elite tight end. I think they should be able to put up 30 on this extremely mediocre defense.
One thing to look out for is James Houston is one of their better pass rushers. He's missed a majority of this season, and he's scheduled to, at least as of now, looks like he's going to play. So that might help their pass rush a little bit, but that still shouldn't be enough to beat the 49ers. I'm just going back to your pass rush stat. That might actually help them out a little bit, but overall, they shouldn't beat the 49ers, even if Debo's out. No, absolutely not.
Average opponent passer rating, Detroit 24th out of 32 teams at 93. Now, Green Bay was 93.7, 25th. They did pretty good against Purdy last week. So
think about this for
against Purdy last week. Was it Green Bay or the rain?
I don't know, but what I do want to say is that Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator for Green Bay, got fired. If they had won that game, he would have saved his career by out scheming and out coaching Kyle Shanahan, who's supposed to be the premier offensive coach in this league. It was that close to happening.
I thought he did better than Matt LaFleur did in that game. Like, Matt, where was your offense in the last 20 minutes? Where was it?
Yeah.
Why did you let your quarterback throw that wild pass on the run with 52 seconds left on first down with 2 timeouts, and you only needed a field goal? Why did that happen? Purdy didn't do that. Purdy was prepared.
He was prepared.
Okay, let's talk AFC Championship. Who should the Niners fans and the Niners players and personnel be rooting for to win AFC Championship?
This may sound about as wrong as it possibly gets. I don't know in what other universe you root to play Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl, but I think the 49ers should root to play Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl. The Chiefs can beat the 49ers as well. The 49ers can beat both these teams. Both these teams can beat them. But when I look at that team top to bottom in Baltimore and Lamar Jackson coming off another MVP year and actually playing well in the playoffs, maturing and being a newfound leader, essentially, man, I don't know. Baltimore has so much talent on that team. They're stacked. Let's just go real quickly. Who has a better defense in your opinion? Roster, 49ers or Ravens?
The Ravens.
Okay. Who has a better offensive line, 49ers or Ravens?
The Ravens.
Who has a better run game? Not better running back, but run game.
I'm going to give that to the Niners. And that's only because when I watched the two teams in person, the Ravens couldn't run the ball. Like, that was my thing with the Ravens in that matchup. They couldn't run the ball against the Niners, and that was Lamar too, except for a couple plays. And I felt like he beat them by getting out of the pocket and making really nice throws. Can you do that twice? Because he wasn't super effective from the pocket. He didn't go for 100 yards or anything, but he was great throwing on the run. Can you do that twice against the Niners? Maybe. Probably. I wouldn't bet against it.
Okay.
I wouldn't bet against it.
Who has the better coaching staff?
The Chiefs could be more balanced against the Niners. Pacheco's really good.
He is. Yeah, he is.
And as good as Lamar Jackson is, he's not as good as Patrick Mahomes.
No, he's not. No. He's not.
Mahomes might be the best quarterback ever.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. And as good as whoever the offensive Todd Monken, as good as he is, he ain't Andy Reid.
He's not. But McDonald is that deal as far as a defensive coordinator. He's very, very good.
He's very good, but Spagnuolo's pretty good too.
He is. No, Spag's good. No, that's true. That's
hard for the,
true.
It's hard for the Niners to be too excited either way after that game's over. Like, yes, we get Patrick Mahomes. Like, okay.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Careful what you wish for. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they faced the Ravens once. The Niners can tell themselves, look, we saw them. We got their best shot. We outgained them. We didn't give them our best shot. We turned the ball over 5 times. We're confident we can beat that team, even if they won't. it's hard to be confident against the Chiefs, man. They've owned you. Freaking owned you multiple times. Like that team makes Nick Bosa look confused on the field. He's just like, where did it go? Which way did it go? Like that. I don't know. Can't make it.
They do, man. It's tough. It's so tough. Oh man. Baltimore should be getting Andrews back this week, so that's a good addition. I think Dalvin Cook only on like 8 carries, but he looked explosive on a couple of them. So maybe that's I don't know, man.
Dalvin Cook would be nice.
They're both good. They're both good. They're both so good. Yeah. I don't know. I think the 49ers can beat either one, but it's going to be tough, man. That's where it's going to really get tough. This NFC was like, okay, that was cool. Let's get to the Super Bowl. That's where the real matchup's going to be. This is going to be a hell of a game, no matter who it is. I'm looking forward to it.
Would you take Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen at this point?
Man, that's a toss up to me. I'm a Josh Allen guy. Like that was coming out of the draft. He was like the first quarterback that I ever said was like, he's going to be great. So I kind of got a soft spot for Josh Allen. That's kind of a tough question to ask me, but if you said Lamar, okay. I can't really argue either way.
Yeah. Fish and chips. Jesse, it's the Bears, right?
Yeah, right.
Helperman 123 says, I watched ATO's quarterback school. He says the amount of hits on Brock is concerning. Do you feel the same way? If we get past the Lions, we will face good D lines?
We're going to face good linebackers, good D lines, and a good secondary, no matter which team they face. So get ready for it. Both those defenses are very, very good, and they are good at all 3 levels. So it's going to be tough.
I mentioned sack percentage earlier as a stat, just how often you sack the quarterback on dropbacks or whatever. Detroit's 6.6%, 22nd. The Niners are 6.8%, 20th. Baltimore's at 8.2%. That's 4th. And the Chiefs are 8.5%. That's number 1. So in the Super Bowl, if the Niners make it, they're going to face a great pass rush. A great pass rush. Not this week.
Very good linebackers that are athletic behind it and very good secondary players. Both of these defenses are very complete. Both of these defenses are more complete than the 49ers.
And great offensive lines.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's going to be a handful no matter what, man. It's going to be a handful.
Everyone just has the Niners written in as the Super Bowl favorite, but man, those teams in the AFC.
And 2 weeks of, and both those coaching staffs are elite over there too, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's a tough task.
Yep. Flav. Jonah Jackson also gave up 0 pressures and 18 dropbacks. His backup gave up 7 and 28. Dude, this is a big drop off. Armstead should have a big day. Armstead over 2.5 sacks, a good quick pick for UG. Thank you, Flav. Is Jonah Jackson for sure out?
Yeah, he had surgery on his meniscus. He'll be back for a Super Bowl, but not in this game, it sounds like. So,
good call. Dazza says, is Feliciano or Burford starting at right guard? The run game looked a lot better when Feliciano was starting.
I would imagine Feliciano starts. I would also imagine Jair Brown starts as well.
Brother Bob says, prediction, Niners 41, Lions 31. Book it, bruh. Is that what it was 2 years ago? It was like 41-33.
Something like
2 years ago when they faced each other week 1. Too much sauce. Says Bosa over under 1 sack on Sunday.
Push. You didn't say half.
Some good offensive tackles to go through.
Push. I'll go push.
Flav. Ragnow also beat up. Between him and Jackson, there should be a ton of pressure up the middle. If we can get a lead, I think it gets ugly. I actually agree with that. Seems like,
I could see a blowout.
Yeah. I mean, there should be a lot of pressure in Goff's face, and that's when he's at his worst.
This is why I think Bosa will get a sack, because pressure, he just falls on the ground and then lets somebody tag him. So Bosa could get a cheap sack that way.
Yeah. Dave Barclay, agree, Brother Bob. Fish and chips, last 2 playoff wins won by ad-lib. Cowboys, Kittle, bust route, and Purdy gets some Packers. Brock scrambles at the end, avoid Kyle, ad-lib. Yeah, let your players be the reason.
Yeah.
Flav, only way to beat Baltimore is to get them out of nickel and then throw it. Rams did and almost won. I don't think Kansas City has the wide receivers, but maybe Mahomes can pull it off. Kansas City would be 10,000 times better matchup for us.
There we go, Flav.
Hey, Flav's got definite opinions. Get him out of nickel and then throw it.
Yeah,
because they have they bring Kyle Nelson down.
They purposefully didn't do that because you want their third linebacker on the field because he's not as good as any of their third safety, Geno Stone, or their third corner. They're all very good. So yeah,
good point. Dave Barclay, tides changing. Agree with Flav again. I know, it's crazy. Times are changing. Abu Marco 23, Hutchinson versus McKivitz, Jamison Williams versus Ambry. 2 matchups keep me up at night. Yeah, you know ball. He knows ball. Charlie Sinclair, Grant, we did it. Thank you for everything. We can finally sit at the big kids table. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
Harold McAllister says Chiefs blew us out at home, and when we played well in the Super Bowl, came back and beat us. Please no, KC.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't want to face Patrick Mahomes if you know what I mean. Official BNM Music 88 says, I hope we don't use TNTE3 to block Hutch. SN, I caught when you laughed at stats earlier. Heavy pause moment. Yeah, I hit him with the pause. I forget exactly what it was, though, but it was good. No, he said something about the D, and I said,
whoa,
the D.
Still out there, stats.
All right. You got behind enemy lines coming on tonight?
No, I just did it before this, so I'm good to go. I'm done for the night.
Hey, that's what's up. Me too.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for watching, everyone. It's NFC Championship week. It's a fun show. I'll be back tomorrow. Not sure exactly when. You got to work that out, but because it's a lot of media availability,
stuff,
interviews,
things
that I do. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your night. Take care.